One of the emotions that we don't talk about enough is rage. And I have, worked a lot with people who have experienced rage, particularly when I worked in the correctional setting. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And I worked with men who experienced a lot of rage, just this intense anger and animosity that they couldn't let go of. And let me tell you, rage, um, while it can be understandable in some cases, sometimes it cannot, and it's a very extreme emotion. And there are people who experience it and can't contain it. So, for example, I've worked with people who've had road rage, and their rage, just for an example, it was so intense that they caused an insane pileup on the interstate, right? Or an insane accident, or people who've actually killed somebody because they've actually been so enraged over something that their wife or ex-wife, their ex-wife moving on, and so they've inadvertently killed somebody else. All of these sorts of things happen because men in particular, who I worked with for a long time when it came to rage, but I've also worked with women too. Um, men. Um, Men have a lot of challenges with containing it. In fact, I used to, when I worked in corrections, I used to lead this group. It was from a curriculum. It was called Cage or Rage. I mean, because sometimes it would just be, men would just get so enraged, like with each other, that they could barely, like, sit in the room, without wanting to, poke somebody or get physical, get into some sort of altercation where they have to discharge all of that aggression. One of the things that I will say about men versus women is men usually almost always have a loud rage, like they can't contain it. They're going to ride by, they're going to call up and make threats, and so they can't contain it most of the time. It's very rare. I won't say I've never seen it, but it's very rare where I've seen a man like get out his rage over time versus women. Women can plot, plan, and scheme, and like sit on something for a year, some years or more, and you never know that is your enemy. So women can be a lot more strategic in that way. Not always. I have worked with some women that absolutely have to get it out right then and there. We gotta fight, we gotta do something. I'm gonna when women may bust out windows and slash tires, but again, there are women that again are a lot more they want to get out a lot more frustration and anger, and they're very retaliatory, and so they can tend to wait. And I've actually known women who've been enraged that have never said things at all, that have just managed to sort of passively aggressively take it out on someone. So for example, one example would be like, and this is just a hypothetical example where a woman's in a relationship, her partner cheats, okay, we make up and we get back together, and it's a happy time. And next thing you know, we pop up, we're pregnant, right? We're pregnant as a couple, and all is well, and we seem to be back on track. Both of you feel like you guys are in a good space. Maybe that baby isn't yours, and so women who've done things like that baby is not yours, and they're never going to tell you that, and they don't feel bad about it either, because they feel like, okay, well, I got him back, he just doesn't know. But I feel so comfortable and so well going to sleep at night knowing that I've done something, and he's not going to find out, but I'm going to make him pay for it. So now he has this responsibility that he thinks that he has, but it's not really his. But he doesn't need to know, and I don't care anything about not telling him. So there's a lot of ways in where people can lash out. But I think women can be very sophisticated in sort of lying in wait, and never even, you never even know that that woman is as angry as she is, or that she wants to hurt you as bad as she does. And she can hurt you, stab you in the chest and have a smile on her face, and go to bed like nothing. This also comes out a lot in divorce and family court. Oh my goodness. If you want to see people become enraged and try to sic their attorneys, and do all sorts of calculating things, um, you know hats are off when it comes to love and war, when it comes to child custody, when it comes to divorce, all those things. Your person that you thought you loved and you would spend the rest of your life with may go to a new low that you didn't think was possible, because they're so angry with you. And the interesting thing is, one of the things that I've noticed about this is, like, people can be so angry and so contentious and basically want to kill each other. I think a great movie that demonstrates this, I haven't really seen anything like it since, but I think it's a great classic example. It's from the 80s. It's with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas. It's called The War of the Roses. And if I remember correctly, I feel like they're going through a divorce, but they just become so hostile with each other that they both end up killing each other. And I won't ruin the whole thing for you, but if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But that's like I think it's supposed to be a comedy, believe it or not, but they're always doing something sneaky and underhanded to each other. And I think it's like a light play on some of the things that you see in real life. But there are people that like really play out their revenge, anything from poisoning to false allegations to all types of stuff, finding your money, all kinds of stuff that they do. So I just want to put that out there. Rage can be a very dangerous thing. It doesn't have to be, but if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, it can certainly consume you. It can consume you to the point where all you see is red all day long, and that's all you're thinking about. You're up at night thinking, plotting your revenge, and trying to get your lick back, in a way that is violent. Even if it's just psychologically or emotionally violent, you want to get your lick back, and that's all you can think of. And sometimes that can distract you from doing other things like living life, driving, taking care of responsibility. You just become so overwrought with that anger that you have to get it out. Another movie I think that exemplifies rage, which I'm sure most of us have seen, is Carrie. Specifically, I think Carrie from I think it was either the 70s or the 80s, Stephen King's movie, but that's another good one. Well, and I hope this helps, and if you like this, be sure to click the link in my bio to subscribe to my newsletter and to my podcast. Thanks so much. Take care.